Om Shri Sai Ram. I offer my humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of her mother Sai. Sai Ram to one and all. Great institutions are not built by brick and mortar, but by people and principles. For an institution that has been built by God Himself, where the principles are loftier than one can imagine, it takes men of great valor, strength, and character to uphold those principles, not just once or twice, but day in, day out, year after year. Teachers at Sri Sathya Sai institutions and hostels were handpicked by Swami to shoulder this immense responsibility. One such great pillar of character and inspiration in Swami's mission is Professor Sri G. Nageshwar Rao. It is my honor and privilege to introduce him as the speaker of this session of Samarpan. Sir joined Swami's institution in the year 1982 to pursue his MSc in chemistry, for which he won the gold medal in the year 1984. With Swami's blessings and guidance, he went on to pursue his PhD in organic chemistry and was awarded the gold medal in 1989. He then joined as a faculty in the Department of Chemistry and went on to become the head of the Department of Chemistry from 2015 till 2018. He was also the Dean of Sciences, Prashanti Nilayam Campus, Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning from 2019 through till 2020, and is now again serving as the head of the Department of Chemistry in Prashanti Nilayam. Beyond an academician, Sir has been a great role model and inspiration for generations of students who have had the privilege of staying in the senior boys hostel at Prashanti Nilayam. Sir is a strict disciplinarian and yet is an embodiment of kindness. At the slightest of nudge, Sir's serious countenance gives way to the most kindful smile, beautiful benedictory smile that only a teacher can have for their students. Sir's life is a saga of duty, devotion, and discipline. Ever so soft spoken, ever so gentle, Sir truly is a gentleman. No wonder Swami held Nageshwar Rao Sir in such a high esteem and presented him as an example to the entire student community and said that if I had just 10 students like Nageshwar Rao, I will leave Mandir and come and stay in the hostel. Without much ado, I will now request Sir to share those gems and treasures of experiences that he has gained from a life dedicated at the divine lotus feet of her beloved Swami. Jai Sai Ram.
एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ति प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ शांति शांति शांति। Offering my loving pranams at Bhagavan's lotus feet, my heartfelt Sai Ram to all the devotees. Coming in contact with godly persons, particularly with avatar. It's a great event in one's life. This happened to me in 1982. I have completed my BSc and I was looking for higher studies, particularly MSc in chemistry. I happened to see notification of the MSc course in Satsai Institute of Higher Learning, applied for this, came and wrote the written test, and after attending the interview I went back home. One fine evening, when I returned from fields to my house, there was an envelope in which it is written that I have been selected, and I came and joined. When I came to join, the bus in which I was travelling just neared the bus stand in Purti, and Swami was going for a ride in his car with a minister of Karnataka in his car. And this was in 1982 or not, when Swami used to give so much of attention to students. Every evening we used to go to Mandir, and Swami during darshan and after darshan, after completing the interviews to devotees, Swami used to come and stand among the students and speak to students 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and sometimes he used to introduce students to the VIPs also. And Swami, frequently Swami used to introduce students to the VIPs, and sometimes he used to call one student, ask him to get up, and pointing out to one VIP, he used to ask, "Can you guess which class he is studying?" He would say, "Swami, BSc," looking at his stature. Swami used to say with a smile, No, he is MSc, PhD over, professor." See, like that we see Swami, when he was talking about his students in slightly in a higher level, maybe more than what was that time, but every word of Swami comes true. He made some of us professors now, but that time itself Swami told that, because for Swami past, present and future are same. He can see all the three. That is it. And sometimes Swami used to say, "My students get up at 4 a.m. One day he was talking to a VIP, and VIPs that time used to sit in the uppermost veranda, which is in front of the interview room, and just below that is the main veranda, is where we students used to sit. See, usually in the hostel, students get up at 5 o'clock, 5:30 they do Suprabhatam, Omkaram. But Swami telling at 4 a.m., my students get up at 4 a.m. See, whatever Swami tells, it is a mantra. Okay, it's a message. In fact, Swami was telling once, my every word, every move, and every action is a mantra, is a message. Swami used to encourage students getting up early, even for studying. He used to say, instead of studying late night, better you get up early morning and study. So after the nice sleep and rest in the night, if you get up early morning and study, your grasping power is better. You can memorize it for a long time, whatever you study that time. And even for sadhakas and aspirants who wants to proceed in the path of spirituality, getting up 4 a.m. Brahma Muhurtam is best. because that time it is very ideal for silent sitting and meditation. Swami wants to drive home that message to the VIPs and the students. See, that is the reason why he was talking like that. One day, Swami was standing in the middle portico among the students, and he was looking at a VIP and asking, you know, why I have set up this university? Because that time, 1980s, more than 100 universities were there in India. Swami is telling, I want to train 10,000 students and send them to the outside world so that they can bring transformation. So he wants to change the world, bring a positive transformation through his students. So Swami's main aim is to train the students for this purpose. And Swami was telling, he was quoting and describing how Yashoda wanted, when she wanted to teach a lesson to Krishna, because Krishna used to, as a Bala Krishna, as a child, he used to go around the Vraja and create so much of mischief, and Yashoda used to get so many complaints. So Yashoda has to catch hold of Krishna and punish him for all that. For this, she used to hold butter in one hand, show that to Krishna, and hold a stick in the other hand and keep that hand behind her. Krishna used to come for the butter, so he used to catch him and beat him for all his mistakes. Like that, Swami is telling, I am offering these students this secular education. Now all these are coming for secular education. I keep them here. As they are getting secular education, I teach them spiritual education also. Now let's see how this transformation comes. Swami used to tell, Darshanam Papanasanam, Sambhashanam Sankatanasanam, Sparsanam Karma Vimochanam. When we look at him, our sins are washed away. When we have problems, we relate those problems to Swami. Once we tell them, Swami, we are relieved of those problems. Our burden in the mind is relieved. And when you have Pad Namaskar, by the divine touch, our karma is washed away. Swami used to say, living with God is education. Yeah, indeed it is great education to live with Swami, because Swami used to say, avatars come to set ideal. It is good to take avatar's photo and worship, but better devotion is to follow the ideals which the avatar shows, which the avatar practices. Because when we practice these values, our lives get transformed. We see Swami, how he speaks, his actions, his moves, everything is selfless. Whatever Swami does, it is for others' sake. When we live with Swami, when we imbibe these values and put them into practice, that's how transformation comes in us. Yeah, that was so when Swami is physically there, but now, even now, these students get transformed. We used to see at that time, students when they join, look at their faces, not so shiny, but after one semester, the same people, when you see, their faces are shiny. How that shine comes? It is because of the purity in the heart that gets reflected in the face. And even now the transformation takes place because Swami has set up this ambience of the hostel, the college or the institute and the mandir, okay, by following the daily routine of prayers, yogasanas and exercises. Prayers in the college, which we do before start of the college, and the academics is the imparting the secular education. Okay, evening games or mandir sessions, bhajans, awareness classes where students are exposed to the moral and spiritual values. Okay, so all these things help in the intellectual, moral and spiritual growth of the students, so that they become holistic personalities. So this is a great opportunity which Swami has given all of us. Once one person asked Swami, sages and saints used to go to forest and do tapas. Then Swami told, see, there is some selfishness in that, but the best sadhana is to see God in everyone. Believe that God is present in everyone, because as Chaitanya, He is present in everyone, and your dealing with Him should be in accord with that. The way you speak, the way you interact, all these things should be with that in mind, that God is present in everyone. If you practice this, that is the best sadhana. One day in interview room, Swami was telling, see, it was a few months after, some time after Indira Gandhi died. It seems Rajiv Gandhi, who was supposed to be the Prime Minister after that, he wanted to start his campaign, election campaign, and before that he wanted to come and seek Swami's blessings and start. So he sent a message. Swami was telling us the research scholars group in the interview, this one. See, Rajiv Gandhi wanted to come, but I sent message to him that not to come. See, people of that stature, supposed to be prime ministers, they are ready to come, but I am telling not. I am holding them back. It is before you I am stretching my hand. See, this is how Swami, when he is praising us, when in a good mood, but it's not always like that. Swami ways of bringing change in us is showering love, and when it is required, holding it back. In fact, in another interview, Swami is telling, if you are going down, I will bring you up. If you are going up, I will bring you down. Because if somebody does a mistake, as I told, because ours was the first batch of the MSc and the PG courses, as a group, Swami used to give many chances, introducing us to VIPs, very frequently, at least once in a month, giving interviews for us as a group, like that. Okay. So much of love he used to shower. But if somebody does mistake, he used to give treatment, and that treatment, as Swami used to tell, suppose there are mosquitoes, one single mosquito must have bit you, but you spray the mosquito repellent and kill most of the mosquitoes. So like that, entire group used to get the treatment. He would neglect us. When you go to mandir, he would not look at us. He won't come to the side where we are sitting as a group. He won't speak. So like that, he used to give treatment, and in few days we used to realize that something has gone wrong. We have to introspect and see where we have gone wrong, and we have to repent for that. We used to write letters and send as a group to Swami, bunch of letters. If that's not sufficient, we used to go and sit there and plead with Swami to forgive us. Sometimes we used to get up and go around and surround Swami and plead. So Swami somehow used to forgive us and then start showering his love. So Swami's ways of correcting us and improving us is this: shower love. If we are going wrong, then withhold that love, so that we start reflecting and introspect and correct ourselves. This is the way Swami used to bring the transformation in us. He used to correct. And Swami is, as I mentioned, avatar sets an ideal. Swami sometimes used to tell some incidents from his childhood times. Swami used to tell It seems Swami's grandfather Kondamaraju, when the property he divided and gave it to his 4 sons, Kondamaraju told him, seems, you take the property, all of you share it, but for me I want one thing, you give Satya. That time Kondamaraju was the only person who knew the divinity of Swami. As he correctly told, if Swami is there with me, I have everything. And after this, Swami used to go and stay with Kondamaraju in a small house. And Swami, that time he used to go to Bukkapatnam for studies because there was no school in Puttaparthi. Swami used to cook food for his grandfather, keep everything ready, and go to the school. And Swami used to tell how with 2 pairs Swami used to manage, because Swami came from a poor family. He used to manage just 2 pairs of dresses. He used to wash his clothes. After drying, he used to do ironing. Swami used to maintain cleanliness very well. The Chembu iron. Chembu is a small the brass vessel to keep water, whose bottom is flat. You put the burning coal in that, and the dry clothes iron with that. Swami used to iron his clothes like that. Sometimes when the clothes are torn, Swami used to put what we call the thorn for to cover that stitch. So that's how Swami led his life. Okay. And he used to for every Iswaramma day, Swami used to go to the Samadhi Mandir where his parents' Samadhi is there, offer flowers, pay respects and come. Swami used to tell, one should show respect to parents. You can see the photo which I am showing. This is the event when Swami performed mass Upanayana to many Vatus. They were selected from throughout India. They brought here, and on this event, usually in the Upanayana, the Purohit or the Pandit, he gives the mantra in the ear of the Vatu. But Swami chanted Gayatri mantra in the mic and told this can be repeated by Vatus, the parents, relatives, and everyone here. So Swami gave that mantra, the great supreme Gayatri mantra, to all the people who were present there. Swami told the best mantra among all the mantras is Gayatri mantra. What is the significance? The Gayatri mantra protects the senses, it protects the pranas. Swami told, in this modern world, if you are busy, how to chant Gayatri mantra daily 3 times, Swami is telling. Actually, the 3 times, one after performing Upanayana, 3 times in a day, he is supposed to do this Sandhya, the morning Sandhya, Pratha Sandhya in the morning, Madhyatmika Sandhya in the afternoon, and evening Sandhya, Sayam Sandhya. At the 3 times, one is supposed to chant this Gayatri mantra. If you can do that, it will be good. Separately, find time. But in case you cannot find time, at least the Pratha Sandhya how to do. When you are taking bath, you chant Gayatri mantra. Imagine that you are giving bath to the God who is present in your body, because God is present in the body as Chaitanya. Afternoon, when you are taking food, when you are eating, you keep chanting Gayatri mantra mentally and imagine that you are giving food, Naivedyam, to God within your body. Similarly, in the evening also, when you are taking food, do that. At least like this 3 times in a day, you chant Gayatri. If you cannot perform separately, the three Sandhyas. See, that's how Swami simplified, so that everybody can chant Gayatri and receive the benefit thereby. This is after the Upanayana, Swami going round to put this yellow rice and bless all the Vatus. In one discourse, Swami talking about the Christ and Bible, and Swami created this. This is of the size of a matchbox, what you see in the photo. Swami told, in this small box there is a Bible of the size of that matchbox. This is there in somewhere in Russia, in a library somewhere, Swami told. And Swami used to encourage programs put up by students. In those days, 1980s and all, people, devotees coming from various places, various states, and putting programs, those are very, very less. And students used to put up programs before Swami. The convocation drama, sports meet drama, and for some festivals, small programs or gratitude program like this. And when Swami sees these performances, Swami used to be very, very happy. And sometimes students clearing CSR and GATE, on those occasions also, when they get national level ranks, Swami used to be very happy. And when he is pleased with his students, he used to shower his love and grace on the teachers also who are involved in teaching the students. Now this photo is one such session when Swami was pleased with students' performance. He gave group photo to the students. After that, he called his teachers present there, and Swami gave us this photograph. And those days, Swami used to award the gold medal to the BSc first rankers, MS first rankers, and also to the PhD holders completing PhD, the gold medal. Swami giving a gold medal and the certificate to me. And Swami used to visit Santavedika, where students used to play games, and the sports festival used to be held, and because of Corona it is not being held for the last 1 or 2 years. Otherwise, every year January 12th we used to have sports meet. So Swami used to come and see the sports meet performance on January 11th. Not only that, even before that January 11th, Swami used to come to see the rehearsals of the exhibition programs. And sometimes Swami used to come and watch our games, basketball. This is the photograph where Swami is watching the basketball by sitting there along with students. After the sports meet on January 11th, either in the morning or in the evening, some of us used to go very early, quickly to Mandir to what is known as the removing drishti. This is where one student holding a coconut, one with salt and mirchi, and going around Swami. That was the great opportunity Swami gave. One could go around Swami, circumambulate, removing drishti, and Swami lighting the arati, the drishti lamp. And Swami used to visit hostel in those 1980s, early days when hostel started. Every semester Swami used to visit hostel 2 or 3 times, and most of the times Swami used to give discourse, and sometimes also give the good opportunity of dining with Swami. Swami used to stay for dinner. In fact, Swami used to host the dinner whenever he used to come. This is in one such visit when Swami came to hostel, Swami planting tulsi in the tulsi kota. This is hostel, Swami visit to hostel, Swami dining with students. On the festival days, if Swami happened to be in Vrindavan, teachers and research scholars, some of us used to visit Vrindavan, and students, they used to write letters. We used to collect them and make into a bundle, and some students used to make cards for Swami. So this is an event where we are showing to Swami the letters and the cards written by the students. Swami used to come and bless and give his message to students and his blessings. Once there was All India Universities Vice Chancellors conference was held in Puttaparthi, and 1 month prior to that, Swami sent a message to the research scholars that Swami is giving a good opportunity to these research scholars, that is putting up a program, Bhaja Govindam drama, on the event of the Vice Chancellor's conference. So in the institute auditorium, every day all the research scholars used to assemble for some time and practice the drama, and most of the actors were all the research scholars, and a few students were there and the music group. And Swami often used to come and see the rehearsals in the institute auditorium, and Swami used to give some dialogues. For example, the essence of education is not collection of facts but concentration of the mind. Like that, Swami used to give some dialogues. Swami even showed how to use the Japamala. One of the disciples in the scene is using Japamala. Swami called him and showed how one should use Japamala. And he gave once or twice interview. Swami heard all these songs from the singers, and Swami used to sing and show how one should give turning. These are the group photos after the drama, Swami coming on to the stage and giving photograph. After the drama was enacted here in the institute auditorium before the vice chancellors, it was praised. Swami was happy, and devotees from Bombay requested Swami that the same should be enacted in Bombay. So when Swami went to Bombay, Swami gave the chance for all of us to go there and enact this drama. One day after that, the drama was enacted. Swami gave a dinner to all of us. This is in front of Dharmakshetra. So Swami used to finish his food just in 1 or 2 minutes and move around, blessing all the devotees and students. So one of these items was dal payasam. Swami came and saw us eating the dal payasam and told, how you people eat sweet? I am 100 miles away from sweet. In 1989, Swami gave me the good opportunity of accompanying him to Kodaikanal. Those days, Swami used to travel in his car and the students in a separate bus. But the best part of the journey is when Swami used to come and sit in the bus along with students. This is one such occasion. Swami is sitting in the front seat, the same seat where students also used to sit. This is the place in Kodaikanal, in Sai Sruti, where we used to sit with Swami. Most of the interactions used to happen here. The day used to start like this, around 6:30 or 6:45. Swami used to come out of the room. We used to assemble before Swami's room in B floor. Swami used to come down to A floor, and by the time the breakfast was arranged, Swami used to call, boys, Randi. So we used to come and Swami stand near the plates. Swami used to say sit, we used to sit down, and then Swami used to say start, we used to start Brahmarpana. And one day Swami was telling, after chanting Brahmarpanam, not even from one of you Brahmarpanam is reaching Brahma. So after eating, Swami used to tell us get up, then we used to get up and wash our hands. See that close observation. So after breakfast we used to sit with Swami here. Swami used to speak to us for 1 hour or so. Then he used to send us for walk, and Swami used to go and give darshan to the devotees and some select devotees some interview. By that time Swami used to complete the interview and come back. We used to come and sit here. Swami again used to sit and interact with us till lunchtime around 10:30. After lunch we used to retire, and evening around 2:45 again we used to assemble near Swami's room. Around 3 o'clock Swami used to come. After tea and snacks with Swami, sit here, and again Swami used to speak till bhajan time, and we used to go to bhajan hall, sit with Swami and do bhajans. After bhajan again sit here, Swami used to speak, like that till dinner time. Daily 4 times we used to sit with Swami here, and Swami used to speak. Sometimes he used to ask VIPs and students to speak, and invariably in the evening session after bhajans, Swami used to speak on stories from mythology and spiritual aspects. In 1989, for nearly 30-31 days Kodaikanal trip, so every day Swami used to speak and narrate events from Mahabharata and Bhagavatam. And apart from this, Swami used to send us for sightseeing Kodaikanal, and sometimes we used to request Swami to come. He used to come and he used to give photos, individual photos and group photos in nice scenic places. This is a place where we request Swami to come. This is where Swami is standing. Just behind that is a deep valley, so deep that at our level in the valley there are clouds, as you can see. So to come to this place we had to travel by bus. You can see the bus in this photograph behind. Road only till there. From there we started walking. Swami also started walking along with us, and it is indeed very difficult to guess when, where, whom Swami is going to bless. This far away place from Puttaparthi in Kodaikanal, and far away from Swami's residence in a forest. There, when we were walking with Swami, a group of villagers were coming. Swami called them, asked them to stop, and told some boys to get eatables from the bus. We got, and Swami distributed the eatables to them and spoke to them and blessed them. After that, Swami again distributed to us the eatables. And here Swami gave us group photos and individual photographs in the forest. And after that session we were coming up. Then we realized how much slope Swami climbed down, and we were coming up because it was difficult. Swami is taking the help of 2 students, one on each side, and climbing up, just to give us joy, to give us photographs with him in a nice beautiful place. Swami taking so much of pains to walk. This is another place. This is a company guest house in Kodaikanal. Swami came with us to give photographs here. Swami used to like this natural beauty, and he was at his best among these flowering plants. One day, this was one day before Sri Ramanavami. It was the evening session. Swami was talking to us. Swami told, now the Sri Ramanavami Gadiyas are starting. Tomorrow is Sri Ramanavami, but the actual Gadiyas are starting now. And Swami waved his hand and created a Panchaloha idol of 3-4 inches height. He showed to all of us, this is the Panchaloha idol of Rama. Swami showing to all of us, and this he gave to one devotee by name Venkatraman. And the next day, on the day of Sri Ramanavami, Swami again talking and told, see, yesterday Rama came, Sita also should be there along with Rama. Again Swami waved his hand and created this Panchaloha idol of Sita and showed to all of us, and gave to the same devotee Venkatraman. A few days after that, this Venkatraman requested Swami and prayed that Swami should come and bless them by partaking lunch. So Swami took all of us to the devotee's house. This is from a pear tree in front of his house. The chola is hung from that tree. Swami sitting on that chola. This is a group photo with Swami sitting in the chola. And the photographers, after taking photographs, they used to bring and give to Swami, and Swami used to see and distribute the photographs to the individuals. This is the place in 1980s, a dining hall in Kodaikanal. Afterwards, in 1990s, a separate dining hall was built, but in the 1980s, this is the dining hall area. This was on the day of Ishwaramma Day, in May 6th. Swami, wherever he is, Swami used to observe the Ishwaramma Day, and Narayana Seva used to be done. So if Swami happened to be in Kodaikanal, there also Swami used to conduct his Narayana Seva, and the food preparations for this used to be held in the same kitchen in the Swami's bungalow Sai Shruti. They used to start from midnight the preparations. Early morning, Swami used to get up and come and see the food preparations. So that day, the Narayana Seva started around 9 o'clock, and we distributed the food, various items in plates, and handed over to the Sevadhan. They used to give to the people sitting in the lines for Narayana Seva. So it got over around 10:15 and around 10:30. Now Swami was with us after all the devotees went off. Swami told, till now the preparations for the Narayana Seva were made in the kitchen, and our lunch preparation started now. So our lunch is going to be late. Then Swami started distributing food items for us because the lunch is going to be late. So it was 10:30 in the morning. You can see in the clock, Swami distributing cake to all of us, chocolates and mixture himself, and laddu also. Like that, Swami distributed 4 to 5 items and soaked badam also to all of us, and our lunch session started around 11:30. Okay. So even though it is going to be just, because usual lunch time is around 10:30, 11 there, even half an hour, 1 hour late, Swami is loud and distributing 4 to 5 items. Now this is this place just behind Sai Shruti, Swami's residence in Kodaikanal. This is a hilly area. The top of that house is Narasimhacharya's house. We used to do that year 1989 social work we did for a few days. The social work was cutting this mud from this hilly region, and in front of Sai Shruti there is a pit, covering that pit, and during this social work time Swami used to come and bless us on this site. He used to distribute the sweets. One day Swami asked Padmanabhan, that time he was the Padmanabhan was the Swami's photographer, to get Tetra Packs milk. That was the beginning, just 1-2 years before only the Tetra Packs came into market that time. He brought 3-4 packets and kept there, big packets of this one. And Swami asked him, after breakfast we were sitting with Swami. Swami asked him how much. He told 2100 something. At that time 2100 is a big amount, like a big sum. I was sitting next to Swami. Just one thought crossed my mind. Daily in the breakfast, lunch, tea time, snacks, dinner time, so many sweets Swami is distributing. Why again in social work time also he is distributing sweets? Why Swami should spend money and buy these things? This was the thought just crossed my mind. And Swami, after that, telling immediately after that, Nannu chusayina chagam nerchukuntarani. That is, at least by seeing me, you people learn Tyagam and sacrifice. So this is the place by Naidu, a devotee from Coimbatore, his house in Kodai. One day we went with Swami for lunch, and this is one of the rooms where Swami came and sat. This is Swami walking from Sai Shruti to the Bhajan Mandir when it was raining. And Swami used to give individual photographs. This is the roof, Sai Shruti roof. From there behind is the lake, Sai Shruti lake. One day Swami took us to an area by name Hilltop, the highest place in Kodaikanal. This is Swami has a small estate there. This is the hilltop area. Swami sitting on the cut tree trunk. And we went on a Saturday to see this place with Swami. Swami told, tomorrow we'll come here for picnic. Though that Sunday we went there. So in the garden outside that bungalow in the hilltop, there is a creeper, jasmine creeper bower. Below that we arranged a Swami chair, Swami sitting, and one side gents were sitting, one side ladies, and the famous playback singer P. Sushila happened to be there. She was singing songs from Lavakusa. Swami used to like Lavakusa songs very much. So during those songs, Swami may be reminded of the events from Sri Rama's life. Swami created an ornament. This is a brooch used by rich ladies those days. Swami told on the festival days they used to wear very big saris. Sita also, when she used to wear sari, the one end of the sari they call kongu. They bring round their neck and keep here. They used to fix the sari here with this brooch. Now this is a big diamond studded on a gold base, and behind this there is a safety pin made of gold, and Swami is showing how they used to wear here. And one day Swami was narrating, as I told, those days Swami used to narrate stories from Bhagavatam. One day Swami narrated how Revati was given in marriage to Balarama. On that occasion Swami created this ornament. This is Hamsa made of a diamond that was fixed in a gold base, and there is a arch like part made of gold, and to that top there is a chain, hooked to a chain. Swami narrated the event. Revati's father was a king. Once he was defeated by his enemies, so he had to leave the kingdom, and he went out to a forest taking Revati with him, and there he did penance invoking Lord Brahma. Pleased with his penance, Lord Brahma appeared and asked him to seek the boon. And the Revati's father asked, I don't want anything for myself, but to bless my child Revati so that her future is safe. Then Brahma created and gave this ornament to him and told, it seems, let your daughter Revati wear this. Her future is safe. The person who is going to defeat her in single combat is going to win your enemies and bring back your kingdom. And you give your daughter in marriage to that person. So, because Revati's father had no male children, she took Revati and put her under the custody of Sandipani and asked him to teach her all the education apart from the normal education, the martial arts and warfare. So Sandipani taught all these things to Revati and all his disciples. One day he set up an exhibition where his students exhibited their skills. On that occasion, Revati fought with other students of Sandipani. She was very expert in mace fight. She defeated everyone, and finally Lord Balarama came and there was a duel, mace fight between Balarama and Revati, and as all of you know, Balaram was the expert, the number one in mace fight. So he defeated Revati. So after that, Revati's father came and narrated the incident, what happened. So Balarama and Krishna went and defeated his foes and brought back the kingdom and gave it to Revati's father. So after that, Revati's father gave Revati in marriage to Balarama. And Swami narrated this story and created this ornament and showed to all of us. And he also showed in the stomach of that Hamsa, we can see Swami's till bust photo till here. Swami showed that. After that, showing to all of us, he kept it on the tumbler. After that, it went off. So like this, Swami used to give so many chances when he took students and teachers to Kodaikanal or any other place. And the day in 1989, Swami gave one chance for me to be with him in Kodaikanal, and the second chance was in 1997. The second trip was short for nearly 20 days. The day prior to starting from there and coming back, this is the last session, it was in the evening, and along with the students and few teachers which Swami took, there were few lady devotees who enjoyed those sessions with Swami in Kodaikanal. All of us, we were sad because the good days are coming to an end, and some of the lady devotees even shed tears. Then Swami is telling, see, everything in life comes to an end. Okay. So these good days in Kodaikanal also have to end, but you should not feel bad. After this, when you go home, you relive these moments, contemplate, ruminate over the good moments what Swami told, and enjoy the bliss which you are enjoying now. So like that, Swami came in his physical form. He spent his days. He gave most of us the great coveted chance of being with him, to have his darshan, to speak to him, to touch him, and we had our best moments. But now is the time when physically he is not there. Now is the time for us to relive those moments, to reflect on the message which he gave, and derive joy from contemplation, and practice the teachings which he taught us, so that we get transformed and come to the stage where we see him, we feel his presence in our heart. As Swami used to tell, he is in each and every one of us. He is our Hridayavasi. Praying to Swami to bless us so that we grow to that stature where we feel his presence in our own hearts and experience that joy. With this prayer, I end my talk. Sairam to all of you.
At different ages, in different yugas, different means have been prescribed for spiritual progress. It is said for Kali Yuga, all you need for liberation is to remember the Lord's name with love and devotion. To know about other avatars, one has to study the scriptures and read the Puranas. But sir, when you were giving those vivid, intricate details of life with Swami, be it how Swami extolled the students in front of the guests, or Swami's visit to the hostel and dining with him together, or your trips to Bombay with him, or be it Swami's involvement in dramas or sports meet, and above all, the blissful experience of being with Swami in Kodaikanal. Listening to them, I realized how fortunate we are to listen to Sai Bhagavat from someone who has witnessed the Leelas of the Lord unfold as they happened. Sir, Your life is a blessed one, lived and dedicated at the feet of the Lord Himself. For those who know you, especially the students who have had the privilege and good fortune of studying at Prashanti Nilayam, sir, you are an example to us. And through your life and through this talk, you have shown us, as a teacher always does, how to live a life where Swami comes first, others next, oneself last. To us, sir, you are an embodiment of devotion, duty, dedication, and above all, humility. Sir, on behalf of all the listeners today, I express our heartfelt gratitude to you for sharing with us the chapters of your life which has been scripted by Swami himself. This session will remain in our hearts forever. I also thank the organizers of Samarpan for giving this platform where we can listen to the glories of the Lord from those who have experienced them themselves firsthand. Thank you. Sai Ram.